top 3 things you should look into when you're getting a bid. So being kind is definitely a good thing for a contractor. I recommend.
One of our first projects since we came down to Florida, we actually did a lot of bathroom renovations that we remodeled after they were just remodeled. So there's a lot of things to look for in a contractor that's coming in to actually do a project for you.
Once we came into the house, we got a phone call just to finish out the bathrooms because the client ended up firing the contractor because he didn't show up. They were out of state and he would take advantage of that. So we came in there, we took a look. It looked pretty decent, you know, the remodel looked all right. And, but once we started actually getting into it, we started doing some knocking tests, all that, realized everything was done incorrectly to the point where every bathroom got redone. We had to rip out all the tile because we would literally take our suction cups, put them on the tile and just pull them off. That's no bueno. Like,
yeah, everything was hollow.
Remember right over the toilet, there was a freaking tile that was going to fall on somebody's head practically. It was literally...
That thing would have killed someone.
Yeah, it was a 2x4 tile. It's like a 50-pound tile with some blobs of glue. Blobs of glue on tile, that's not how you lay tile, guys. It's trowel it, double trowel it.
I was going to say the first red flag for that project should have been at the price that that contractor gave the client.
Correct.
You know, the price that he gave, there's no way in today's world that you could actually put a bathroom together for that price.
Plus
so that's
for what she wanted.
Plus for what she wanted.
She had a lot of intricacies that had to get fine-tuned and properly done. Like,
and that, I would say that's like the first red flag. You know, if you see what you want and you're getting a quote from a contractor that's, you know, suspicious. I know we all like to get a good deal and we all like to shop for the cheapest things, but don't be so quick to just get on the first cheapest quote that you get.
But you got to make sure they're knowledgeable, they know what they're doing. Because you've been in the business for 20 years doesn't mean you've been doing it right for 20 years. How many times do we hear that, oh, I've been doing this for 20 years. Great, good for you. That doesn't mean anything. You could be in business for 4 years and know a lot more than the person that has been in business for 20 years. Experience is part of it, but there's also the key element of learning and being knowing what technologies are out today and to keep furthering your knowledge of what you do. In this industry. It's so important to really be up to par and up to date with all the technologies that are currently available so you can have the most optimal result in your bathroom or whatever part of renovations you're doing. So top 3 things you should look into when you're getting a bid, right? You have a bid, contractor give you a bid. Let's say it's a bathroom remodel. What you should be looking for if you know he's the real deal. First, I gotta say, you know what? Honestly, it's all about you judge a book by its cover. I honestly agree with that. It's very important how he shows up. If he's clean, if he's reliable, he showed up on time, he communicated with you.
Returns phone calls.
Number one thing is communication, obviously. So let's start with this one. Step 1, make sure the communication was up to point, he was on time, and if he was late, he told you beforehand and not just showed up whenever he wanted to, because that shows you that he's respectable, he respects your time, and he's going to communicate with you throughout the progress of everything. Secondly, what would you say is important?
I would say just make sure you go in detail, like through the quote, what's included, what's not included, so that the contractor is meeting your expectations. So you're not assuming that, you know, just because someone says this project is $10,000, try to understand exactly what goes into that and what service they're providing so that, you know, there's no issues down the road of, you know, I thought this was included, oh, we're not doing this. And, you know, as you're talking to the contractor and you're figuring out these details, you could pretty much tell if someone's confident about what they do and could explain to you clearly about what your project is going to entail.
So you're going to conclude that as being the full scope of work. Make sure you have the full scope of work where everything's broken down so there's no surprises. As everyone knows, there's always surprises in construction, but you want to minimize those surprises by having a good scope of work. Again, listen, we could write out the full scope and realize that, oh, we missed this. And again, communication is where it comes back to communication.
Yeah, and I would say changes are normal, so that's why communication has to be
up to par.
Up to par, 100%. Because how many times either we have ideas or a client comes up with an idea midway through the project, you know, and we just adjust to that.
And number 3, Number three, this leads us to number three. Three, I would say for us, is just being a good person. That's all it takes. Every client we deal with is literally ends up in almost as a friendship, just because of how much things go into it, and there's so much complexities that you develop a friendship. And when you're kind to one another, it helps the process so much more. So being kind is definitely a good thing for a contractor. I recommend whenever you deal. If you were talking to somebody and you feel he's just almost like a sleazeball, you're getting a bad feeling out of him, you are probably correct. It's very rare that that turns around. If it comes in as a sleazeball, probably will end up leaving you as a sleazeball as well. Stay tuned, guys. We have a lot of more content coming your way. Thank you for sticking around. We're excited to keep giving more tidbits and tricks and information.